In a world full of screens and overbooked living, children need a place for daydreaming, for imagination, for boredom, and completely open days of play. Bethany here again from Your Sacred Home, where I talk about all things homeschool, intentional living, and parenting. Welcome. Have you ever heard your kids say, "I'm bored"? Or maybe parental fear set in, constantly pestering your every move with, "No, that's not safe. Stop. Be careful." I can recall a time here recently where somebody shared a story with me about my 6-year-old who didn't happen to be with me at the time. He was with my husband. My husband was just doing work for somebody, and he brought him along without any screens. And the person that was talking to me observed my 6-year-old child, who's a boy, observed him just being able to be so imaginative and creative in his play. Never once through those few hours that he was there with my husband did he come and beg for a screen or say, "I'm bored," or need somebody to come up with some type of activity for him. He was completely independent in his play, and this just boggled this person's mind because she has observed through other kids in their play that just is not typical for kids these days. We all desire to raise kids that are confident, that are capable, that are independent and healthy. We cannot wait until they're teenagers. We have to begin fostering their independence and creativity at a young age. I want to talk specifically today about using outdoor play to encourage independence, confidence, and just a healthy way of life. Let's talk about 4 things that you can be doing to encourage that independence, to encourage that creativity. Number 1, in our family, we limit our screen time. No, I don't think screens are terrible or awful or bad, but I do believe children can learn so much and just maintain just a more healthy relationship with their screens when you begin to teach them boundaries. In our family, we place boundaries on their time and the use of their screens. We don't ban screens, we just teach how to use them healthy and how not to overuse their screens. I believe screens have definitely become like a comfort zone for kids. If a child doesn't have any set boundaries, of course, it's that comfortable zone. They're just going to gravitate towards that area and just want to, by default, use the screen. I mean, isn't it so much easier to just sit down and have something or someone else do the thinking for you? Another way to encourage independence and creative play outdoors, try allowing your children to experience boredom. Breathe. This can take a little time. When children are allowed to ponder life and really think about what they want to play, they sure come up with some really wonderfully creative ideas. Don't be so quick to pre-plan a bunch of activities and crafts and games for them. Boredom can lead into some great things, one of them being independence. Another thing that you can be doing is encouraging outdoor play with plenty of free time to do it. You guys might think this is a little steep, but 2 to 3 hours of outdoor play each day is really ideal. And if you think about the way that we were raised and maybe even the generation before us, that's not far off. I'm sure there was even more hours in a day that was spent outside. Outdoor play is so necessary. The child has to have enough time and opportunity for that outdoor play. Kids need outdoors. Nature is therapeutic. It's magical. But some of you guys might be thinking, how do I get to that point? I mean, 2 to 3 hours outside every day seems like a lot. We don't get near that much time outside, you might be saying. Begin establishing an atmosphere and a way of thinking in your home that the outdoors is a great place and something that we need to spend a lot of time in. So when you're thinking of ideas of how you can foster this, just idea that the outdoors is so necessary and so awesome, here's some ways that you can just get a little creative with it. Practice it by doing it yourself. Your kids need to see you outside. They need to see you getting excited about the outdoors. If you're not out there, it's really going to be hard for them to buy into the fact or to the idea that the outdoors or nature is a cool place. Make sure to set up times specifically, like make specific times for being outside. Your kids just know through routine and just over and over and over of doing it, that there are specific times that you just plan on being out there, or that you, I hate to use this word, but kind of like require your children to be outside. Change your language. Let your kids hear through your speech how awesome that you think outside is. You can study nature together. Studying nature, getting excited about it, getting books from the library, learning about different things that are in the outdoors gets them excited. Also, you can learn so much together. But that can build such a great excitement for nature and the outdoors. Our family loves to eat outside as often as we can. We're always making picnics for lunch, even in the evenings, especially on fair weather, good weather days, we're outside eating. The key is to make outdoors cool. And the last thing that you can try doing is to give children space. Give your child space to just be outside. See, in order for your child to gain this independence and this confidence, is they've got to have that opportunity to exercise it. And really, they can only exercise this by being alone, by being on their own. Everything is so adult organized and overrun with safety rules. Yes, being safe is good. It's great. It's necessary, but not at the expense of the development of a child. Oh, man. This is the generation of that parent guilt for your child climbing up the slide instead of going down. Or even parent shame by allowing your child to ride their bike down the street to their friend, the neighbor's house. I just think back to a lot of the things that I was able to do as a kid, and I would say that my parents were pretty restrictive and very safety conscious, but we were allowed to do a lot more than children are allowed to do these days. Safety has just gone to another level. And no, this is just my opinion. I'm not sure I really buy into this idea that these communities, that our communities are a lot less safe than they used to be a decade or decades ago. I think that the oversaturation of the media and what they feed us and our ability to just know so much through the media has just given this skewed perception that the world is so much more dangerous than it used to be when we were kids. Really, you need to establish as a family what you feel comfortable allowing your kids to do, what you feel is safe for them to do alone. And remember, this is going to look different for each age and each developmental stage. And also different depending on where you live in the country, where you live in the world, whether it's a big city, a more rural area, it's going to look different. Just use your common sense. But don't be so guilted by just all the safety rules. Sometimes you just need to come down a little bit and know that your children are going to be okay. Loosen those reins a little bit at a time. It's going to take practice. And remember, it's okay if your child is not being watched by you all the time. Allow that freedom to happen. And the best place for that to start is right in your backyard. That's it. These 4 steps, these 4 ways of just encouraging independence and creative play. All right, now go hang out outside. Well, maybe you hang out over here and let your kids play alone. Okay, until next week, you guys have a great one. I'll catch you next time. Bye.